Pokemon GO's very own Fashion Raid Day is taking place this weekend. It's important to mention this may be one of your last opportunities to get these costume shinies for the foreseeable future. We're going to do a full event breakdown, run through a quick counter guide for some tougher targets, but more importantly, which Pokemon should you be focusing on this day. This is Fashion Raid Day with Go With Us. Guys, Fashion Raid Day will be taking place this Saturday, April 4th from 2 to 5 p.m. local time, so only a 3-hour time frame. Let's just talk about this raid day very quickly. Guys, in previous years, over the last 3 or 4 years, they have listed one event which is normally Fashion Week. They have taken all of the featured Pokemon out of the previous Fashion Weeks and have made one raid day with a 1 in 10 shiny rate. These are all of the Pokemon that are going to be spawning in 1 and 3-star raids specifically. We can see Fashionable Butterfree, Diglett, Dragonite, Wooper, Sneasel, Kirlia, Absol, Shinx, Krogunk, Blitzel, and Minccino. The other bonuses that are going to be connecting to this is that we can receive up to 6 free raid passes from spinning gym discs on this day. But a quick tip I'm going to throw in here is that if you didn't do a raid the day before on the Friday, that pass is actually going to carry over, so you will be able to do 7 free raids if you didn't do the raid the day before. The remote raid pass limit will also be increased from 10 until 20 from Friday, April 3rd at 5 p.m. all the way until Saturday, April 4th at 8 p.m., but that's going to be PDT time. I'm going to add this in here very quickly. If you guys want to upgrade your Fashion Raid Day experience, you can get the ticket for a total cost of $5, which I think is pretty worth it if you are shiny hunting a lot of these Pokemon. For $5, we can get an additional 14 raid passes from spinning gym discs, which could take your total to potentially 21 or 22 raids if you didn't do the raid the day before. You're going to get increased chance to get Rare Candy XL from these raid battles, 50% more XP from raid battles, as well as 2 times the Stardust. If you are going to purchase this ticket, please consider buying it through the web store. If you do, you will be able to get 1 additional premium pass at no cost, but more importantly, you can get those Go points on the web store to progress through that premium track, and eventually, as soon as you get to those final destinations, guys, there are some premium items that you can just purely get just by buying things through the web store. Those are the main details and Pokemon of the event, short and sweet. But what should be your priority Pokemon? What are some tips and what are some targets? Let's go through this one at a time. First and foremost, I think the best way to do this is explain to you again that every single one of these costume Pokemon have been featured in previous Fashion Week events, which means you may not see them in a very long time. So beforehand, I want you guys to really go after certain Pokemon that you want the shinies for, especially in their costumes. That is going to be a huge determining factor on how you play this day. For my personal collection, I really want that Shundo Dragonite. Of course, I know to get a Shundo on a day like this is almost nearly impossible, as we all know, but for me, that is something I might be focusing all of my attention on. It's worth pointing out, with a lot of these costume Pokemon being available on this day, not all of them are able to evolve with their costumes on. So what are the best ones to be going after? All of these Pokemon are going to be rare in their own capacity because they all have really unique shinies with their costumes on. One target we would definitely look at is going to be Fashionable Wooper, of course coming with that beanie. Wooper going into Quagsire right now in the Great League is a tremendously good Pokemon, one of the mud boys as they do call them, and right now Quagsire is currently hovering around the 50th spot in the Great League, so there's some meta relevance there. Target number 2 is definitely going to be that costume Absol with the glasses. Guys, this Pokemon looks so sick, but more importantly, this Pokemon can Mega Evolve into Mega Absol, which right now is currently, I believe, the 5th best Dark-type attacker in the game with Brutal Swing, which does require an Elite Charge TM. It's a very glassy Pokemon, but it does hit tremendously hard. That's Mega Absol. But as we know, and if you didn't know, Mega Absol Z will be coming to the game at some point, and I'm pretty sure the Mega Evolution will be turned on for the specific costume Pokemon. And remember, Mega Absol Z takes on a Dark and Ghost typing, so this could be a great opportunity. It probably will be the best Dark-type attacker in the game, and definitely one of the better Ghost-type attackers in the game, so this is definitely a top target. The next target we're going to be focusing on, and this is going to be my number 1 priority, is going to be Dragonite with those little shade glasses. I think this Pokemon is very sick. Dragonite is actually not a lot of people's favorite shiny Pokemon. A lot of people don't like that green, but as we know, it's the Mega Dragonite, which has recently come to the game. It's one of the only 2 or 3 Megas that has access to the new Mega level, which is of course Mega level 4. A lot of us would have gotten the Mega Dragonite energy during the Kalos tour, but it's a great opportunity now to try and get that 98 or Hundo, but to have it in the costume form as well would be super rare. Please, we need to get that hundo. Mega Dragonite right now is currently the 10th best dragon type attacker in the game, and even Dragonite without the Mega Evolution in the Master League right now has stood the test of time for a long time in this game. It's currently hovering around the 60th spot in the Master League right now. A brilliant utility Pokemon, even for something like Rocket Grunts and Rocket Leaders, Dragonite has really good utility for you. And just to put this on top, if you got a shiny custom Dragonite that could Mega Evolve with the glasses, to be honest, you would be one of the only people in the world to have this. And if you did have the Shundo with the glasses, you might be the only person in the world that had it. Some of your lesser targets are going to be Pokemon like that Kirlia with the top hat, or the Sneasel. Bear in mind that both of these Pokemon, they cannot evolve, but it's a great opportunity to try and extract the candy for them, because both of these Pokemon without their costume forms going into Weavile respectively, as well as Gardevoir or Gallade, guys, these Pokemon do massive damage. For example, if you got the candy as well as XL candy for Kirlia, you would be able to power up a Mega Gardevoir. Mega Gardevoir right now is currently the best fairy type attacker in the game, and it's one of the best psychic type attackers in the game as well. And for Sneasel going into Weavile, again, you won't be able to make this evolution, but if you did get the candy and if you need the XL candy for this Pokemon, Sneasel is actually a really good, it's a very glassy ice type attacker, but it hits tremendously hard because it has a really good attack stat, and the Shadow Weavile is hitting even harder, I believe, hovering around the top 10 spot for your best ice type attacker in the game. So the candy for these Pokemon are pretty worth getting. But that makes me think, how do I get candy, and how do you guys get candy on this day? Because there are going to be a lot of Pokemon popping up in these raids, it's almost difficult to determine what Pokemon you should really get candy for. If you did want to go after Dragonite, which is a flying and dragon type Pokemon, we would need to Mega Evolve a Mega Level 3 dragon or flying type Pokemon in the background. But what it's also going to be stacking with is the shockingly good time event. On the Go Pass, as soon as you get to the Tier 1 bonus, it's going to be 2 times catch candy. So now every single Dragonite you caught would be 6 candy. If you used a Pineapple Berry, it's going to be 12 candy. If you had the Mega Evolution bonus, it's going to be 14 candy. And of course, if you use the Silver Pineapple Berry, you could get up to 15 candies per catch. And of course, the XL candy that may come with the bonus from the Mega happening in the background. Definitely worth Mega Evolving Pokemon for whatever targets you're looking after. Speaking of Dragonite very quickly, I believe this is the only Pokemon on this day that you're really going to need a counter guide for, because it is a 3-star raid boss and it's probably the toughest Pokemon to take down, although it's still very easily soloable. The best counters you could use are going to be White Kyurem with Ice Fang and Ice Burn, Black Kyurem with Dragon Tail and Free Shock. You could use Shadow Abomasnow with Powder Snow and Avalanche, Mega Rayquaza with Dragon Tail and Breaking Swipe. There's that Shadow Weavile we just spoke about with Ice Shard and Triple Axle. Even Shadow Mewtwo with Psycho Cut and Ice Beam could work. Galarian Darmanitan with Ice Fang and Avalanche, as well as Mamoswine with Powder Snow and Avalanche. Those are some of your top targets you want to be going after, but there are some miscellaneous tasks that I want you guys to look at on this day as well. Every single raid day is a great opportunity to evolve 2 certain type of Pokemon. The first one is going to be Hisuian Quillfish, and the other one is going to be Galarian Yamask. Both of these Pokemon, in order to trigger their evolutions to complete your Pokédex, you need to complete 10 raids with either of these Pokemon as your buddy. Please remember to do that, because you're going to be doing plenty of raids on this day. You can easily trigger these evolutions and get them in your decks. A lot of people don't even have these in their decks, just simply because it's a bit of a tedious task to get these evolutions done. The other 2 Pokemon which are very important, and I know a lot of people still haven't done it, is evolving Kubfu into Rapid Strike Urshifu as well as Single Strike Urshifu. To evolve Max Kubfu into Urshifu Rapid Strike, you need to defeat 30 water type Pokemon, and of course Wooper is going to be in the 1-star raid pool here, so a very easy thing to chip away at. And for Max Kubfu going into Urshifu Single Strike, you need to defeat 30 dark type Pokemon, and of course there's 2 in the raid pool here, which is going to be Absol, and the other one is going to be Sneasel. So a good opportunity to look at those. And we also have to talk about level 80 here, because as we know, most trainers on the planet are on their push to level 80, but you need to complete 50 platinum medals, which is not an easy task. But on raid days, there are certain platinum medals that are not easy to complete, but you can do large chunks on a day like this. The first one is going to be the Champion Platinum Medal, which requires you to win 1,000 raids. The second one is the Rising Star Medal, which requires you to defeat 150 different species of Pokemon, and because there's a lot of different raid boss Pokemon, you can easily take out a large chunk of this medal too. The Rising Star Doom Medal requires you to win 2,000 raids, but that's with a friend. All of these medals really surround raiding and defeating Pokemon, so again, if you're on your way to getting 50 platinum medals, remember these in the background. The other important thing that's worth mentioning here on a day like this is that you don't actually have to focus on these Pokemon, especially when it comes to the remote raid pass limit or your free passes. You could be looking at the other Pokemon that are going to be in 5-star raids, mega raids, as well as shadow raids. We know that Regidrago is going to be in 5-star raids during this event, so if you want to spend some passes on this Pokemon to maybe get the shiny or to maybe get a Regidrago on your dragon type teams, it is currently the 16th best dragon type attacker in the game. But also a lot of people didn't know that using a Pokemon like Regidrago or Regieleki in party power actually makes their moves a lot stronger, which makes them stronger Pokemon to use in that party. And in Regidrago's case, I think it goes into like the top 6 dragon type attackers to use with party play. The mega Pokemon you could look at is going to be Mega Magnetric. It is currently the best electric type mega in Pokemon Go and currently the 4th or 5th best electric type attacker in the entire game right now. And lastly, you could look at Shadow Latios, of course, which is going to be in a 5-star shadow raids. Shadow Latios is in the top 10 psychic type attackers right now, and it's around the 20th best dragon type attacker right now. You could spend a lot of your time raiding these Pokemon as opposed to the costume Pokemon if that's something you wanted to do. Please remember to trade these Pokemon as well, but specifically try and do it on the following Friday, because as we know, on Friendship Fridays, you get 1 additional special candy, an increased chance of lucky Pokemon, and you get 1 additional special trade per day as well, so you could potentially trade some of these rarer legendary shinies that you would have got from 5-star raids on this day as well to really amplify getting those luckies. And who knows, you could potentially get a Schlundo, which we have seen ourselves and we've shown you many times over. Guys, this is going to be Fashion Raid Day. If you guys want to see everything going on this week in Pokemon Go, please check it out to my left right now, as well as everything going on in April. It is absolutely stacked. Here are other videos above me right now. Please check out at least one of them. I must say April's looking very good, and the Fashion Raid Day is a pretty good way to kick that off. Love you guys. Go with us. Please smash that like and subscribe button, but more importantly, that hype button. We want this video to travel as far as wide as possible. Appreciate your support. The channel is growing. We literally cannot do this without you, and we're so thankful for every single time you watch us. Love you. Go with us, and we'll catch you in the next one, baby. Shh.